What up? It's your main man, actor, producer, Troy D. Williams.
Hey, it's Cherry Johnson.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Scott White.
We are the Herd.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Natasha.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is B Slade.
And you are now tuned in to Unmuted.
You are watching Unmuted.
To Unmuted.
To Unmuted.
And you're watching Unmuted.
You're watching Unmuted. Keep it locked.
Unmute yourself and speak your truth.
System.
On February the 16th, 2002, 2 days before Malvo's 17th birthday, John Mohammed gave him his first big test. John was angry with a friend of his ex-wife, Isla Nichols, so he sent his young apprentice to kill her. Lee was not to know that Nichols' 21-year-old niece, Kenya Cook, would be home. On opening the front door, Cook was shot in the face with a single bullet. Lee Malvo had made his first kill.
When did you find out that these killings and the sniping was going on? And did you have any prior knowledge of that?
So first of all, what was the profile? 2 Caucasians in a white box truck. That's what everybody was looking for.
Of course.
So, but y'all were looking for 2 Caucasians in a white box truck. I was looking for that and John. You were looking for 2 people. I was looking for 3.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking for 3 people.
Yeah.
So I'm doing everything everybody else is doing. Stay safe. Don't go outside. Make sure your children inside.
Most
And
definitely.
before I go outside the door, I run to the back door, look at the rooftops. I'm looking for John.
Right.
Look at the rooftop. He's an expert shot. He was a sniper.
Right.
Okay. And then I go to the front door, look at the rooftops, because I'm working at Southern Maryland Hospital down the street. So, okay. I didn't make friends at the hospital. I didn't want nobody to be my friend. I didn't want to be responsible if somebody was killed because of me. So I kept people at bay. Right. So October 11th, my coworker picked me up for work. She says, there's a dark colored car outside your cul-de-sac, and I get a bad feeling from that car. I said, girl, don't worry about it. Let's just go to work. So we passed by the car. The driver looks at us. The passenger has a newspaper. I said, did you see that? She said, yes. I said, give me your phone. I didn't have a cell phone. Give me your phone. Called the police. I said, it's a dark colored Caprice Impala because I was an auto repair service. So I know the kind of car.
You know the car.
I know the car.
All this ties into it. Wow.
Caprice Impala, dark blue, New Jersey plates, sitting outside our cul-de-sac. They said, okay, we'll get somebody over there to look at it. So October 23rd, ATF, FBI knock on my door. And they said, when was the last time you seen John Allen Muhammad? My hand started, so I said, well, why are you asking me about John? Why are you asking me about John? He said, well, we just want to know when was the last time you seen him. I said, September 5th, 2001, at an emergency custody hearing in Tacoma, Washington. He said, well, have you heard about any shootings in Nevada? I said, nope. We need for you to come down to the police station. I said, I ain't going nowhere with y'all. I told y'all this man trying to kill me. And y'all don't want to listen. Said Miss, and I believe you have him at the police station and you want me to identify him. Said, Miss Muhammad, I promise we do not have him at the police station. We just need for you to come down to the police station to answer some questions. I said, okay. I tell my children I'm going to the police station with the police officer. I'll be right back. Go to the police station. So there's a part that we left out. When I moved here from Tacoma, Washington, I called the FBI because he took our children, emptied the bank accounts left me penniless. I passed out from stress, had to go to the hospital. And so my sister here in Maryland came and got my mom, and I had to move into a shelter. From the shelter, I came here. So they said, how do you know your children are no longer in the country? I said, my cousin is a private investigator. I called him and said, my children are gone and I need you to find them. He said, when the trail runs cold, that means the people you're looking for are no longer in the country. He said, all right, Miss Muhammad, what paperwork you got? I gave him my divorce decree. I gave him a writ of habeas corpus, which meant anywhere they found my children needed to bring them back and give them back to me. I gave him pictures of all three and John. He took all of my paperwork. He said, okay, we'll be in touch. 2 weeks later, I get all that paperwork back and with a note. I'm sorry, it's nothing we can do. But since this is an ongoing case, we're going to refer you back to Seattle. You need to call the FBI agency there. I did that. I explained to them, hey, I'm running for my life. I'm in hiding. He kidnapped the children. They're out of the country. And that is a federal offense because I have a restraining order. He's not supposed to take them out of the country. And so, Ms. Muhammad, since we know he's looking for you, what we want to do is we want to put you in the middle of a parking lot and use you as a decoy. I said, what? We want to use you as a decoy. This way we can lure him out. I said, excuse me. It's going to be a headshot. You're not going to know which way the bullet is coming from. They said, well, we're just trying to help you out. Click. August the 30th, I get a call from the shelter I was living in. And she said, Millie, I think we found your children. You need to send all of your paperwork to Detective McCarthy. Did that. August the 31st, 4:35 p.m. They called me and said, Miss Muhammad, we got your children. Oh, I was happy, jumping up and down. They said, but you got to fly back to Tacoma for emergency custody hearing. I fly back. He tries to attack me in the courtroom. Judge gave me full custody of the children. We go downstairs to tell the police, the substation in the courthouse, hey, can we go out your back door because he just tried to attack me in court. They say, no, you got to go out the front door just like everybody else.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So we walking in a triangle, everybody have each other back, walking out the door. We go pick up my children from social services. My son is tall and skinny now because he took them when they were 6, 7, and 9. They were gone for 18 months.
Man.
People knew where they were and did not tell me. They would come over and check on me and go back and tell John what I was doing.
Jesus.
18 months.
For
I
18 months?
cannot tell you the pain that I felt. There are no words to articulate that. I mean, none at all. I was in that shelter and I said, Lord, I have to give my children to you. I have to release them to you because if I don't, I'm going to die in this shelter. And I need to take care of me so that when the judge sees me, then he will give me custody of my children. So I had to release my children out of my spirit into God's so that I could repair myself to receive them once I did. And so once the judge gave me custody of the children, when I got them, got on the plane that night, landed at BWI. September 5th, 2001. Fast forward to the shootings. You know, they told us to look for 2 Caucasians in a white box truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we know how that ended. And I had my children at the time. So the theory was he was killing innocent people to cover up my murder so he could come in as the grieving father and get custody of the children. And the $100,000 they were given to the victims of the sniper. Y'all would have gave him Father of the Year. I would have been dead and nobody would.
Oh, the chilling thing about this interview, the chilling thing about hearing that is knowing that this happened and we watched it on TV but we did not know the details that you're saying because they won't put that in there.
Well, they wanted you to believe it was two black men in a Chevy embezzling the United States government for $10 million to be placed on a stolen credit card. That you would believe, but you would not believe that a man traveled cross country to kill his ex-wife to gain custody of his children. Wouldn't believe that. A black man at that.
A black man at that, because there were comedians. Of course, there were comedians.
I know, I saw them all.
You saw it all. I mean, we would never have guessed that this was a black man doing this. We only knew that white men, no offense, but it's the truth.
Yep.
Only white men would
But
do
that
stuff
was
like this. Serial killing.
The
stuff.
profiler said that this is a white man. That's why it was two Caucasians in a white box truck. Threw everybody off. They even changed the way they profile serial killers now because of John.
Because of John. Wow.
Because of John.
And the moment that we learned that it was two brothers, two melanin men that looked
tell
like
me how you accepted that, or what happened with you when you saw that.
When I saw that, I was disappointed. I was very disappointed because here I am now. Now, mind you, we was in school. Now, this happened in 2002. I was in the 11th grade.
Okay.
Right. So, of course, we're learning about this in school. And, of course, getting out. Now, my father was a pastor and not hearing on the news that he's going to different states. Right.
Right.
He's going to different states. So we were literally afraid to go outside in Florida.
Right.
Maybe he came to Florida. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. But we was afraid to go outside. You know, my mom was watching the news and we was watching like this thing is real because every day we heard about a new killing. And I think it was 17 killings. Yeah, total. 17 killings and everything, and others got injured and all. It's like, dude, my father was the head cook at the hospital, chef and all like that. And hey, Dad, I think you might need to call in, brother. You might want to call in because I want to see, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, fear for him. So it's like, wow, I remember this. So I was very disappointed to learn that it was a black man that did this. You know, we hit an all-time low now.
Yes. The way that they caught him is his best friend in Tacoma, Washington, called the FBI in the middle of the shootings, told them that he didn't know anything about their case, but they may want to look at John Allen Muhammad because his ex-wife is in the area.
Wow.
And he may be there to hurt her. That's when the investigation changed. And so once they caught him, I called him. I say, look, Robert, I'm just calling to thank you for saving my life. He said, let me tell you this. Okay. I said, okay. He said, John is my boy. I love him. But I also know that he came there to kill you. They were army buddies. So he came there to kill you. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how they say it. He came there to kill you. And the reason why I called the FBI is because I did not want to see your name scrolling at the bottom of the TV screen, knowing that your children would not have you or him. That's why I called. But don't get it twisted. He came there to kill you. You remember that. I said, I will. And again, thank you for saving my life. Because had he not called, they wouldn't have known. They would not have known. And then I had an FBI agent at a book signing. He came up to me and said, Mr. See, who asking? Because I don't just say, yeah, it's me. No, who are you? Because the community blamed me. They said, if you would have stayed with him, he just would have killed you. If you would have stayed on the West Coast and the people on the East Coast would still be alive. How dare you call you and your children victims when none of you were hurt or killed? And how dare you bring this drama into this quiet community? So it was all my fault. It was all my fault. And so he said, you know, they had a security detail on you. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, we put a microphone outside your home.
What?
We were listening to the communication, the conversations, to see if you were a part of that. He said, once we found out you wasn't a part of it and you had no knowledge of it, we pulled your security. I said, wait a minute. You knew he was coming for me? Yes, we knew that. And you pulled my security. He said, yeah. I said, why did you do that? I said, somebody else needed it more than you. I said, okay, so let's say he killed me, right? He said, right. I said, what would that have been? He said, that would have been a oops. Oops.
Okay. All right. Wow. That is amazing. So they had you secured. They had security at your home.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know they had security.
Listen to your conversation, right?
Right.
To find out you had no knowledge. You didn't know
no
anything
knowledge.
about it,
None of it.
That protection away from you.
Right.
So just to think, that's why we say
they set me up.
Right. We thank God for danger seen and unseen, because sometimes you just don't know. So you could have been off and had no knowledge of anything. And you didn't have knowledge of anything.
I did not.
Hey,
well, here's another one for you.
Guys, y'all ain't open up your minds and just listen to this lady, because this really happened. This is the government that we're dealing with right here. This is legit. Yep.
I testified for Lee because my children and Lee were best friends. And they say, Mom, Lee sounds just like Dad. And if it wasn't for Dad, he wouldn't be there.
Pause. How did they become best friends with Lee?
Because when he took them to Antigua. And he befriended Lee's mother. And Lee's mother was looking for jobs on other islands and left Lee with John. Lee became a part of that family. So he was the big brother.
Right.
Over our children.
So technically, Lee really didn't want to have nothing to do with it. He just found himself in a situation where
he wanted a father figure, and John fitted.
So I'm gonna do whatever.
Loving,
I'm gonna do whatever
caring
I gotta
to
do
his
to make
children.
sure Daddy's happy.
Yep. So they told me at the trial, they said, Miss Muhammad, do you recognize this young man? I said, no, sir. He said, oh, they found you. See, John sent Lee to your door pretending to be a salesperson. And his instructions were, when you open the door, to shoot you in the face. Miss Muhammad, you opened the door and he walked away. We don't know the repercussions he suffered because he didn't kill you that day. I say, but God, because obviously I had something else to do.
Glory to God. Ooh, that's a praise word right there. Yikes.
Obviously, I had more work to do.
You had the ultimate security.
Yes, I did.
Didn't provide for you. You had God on your
side.
side.
I did.
Right
I said, thank
you.
Thank you, Lord, for sparing my life, because I am so grateful, and gave me back my children.
And gave you back after 18 months.
After 18 months.
What up? It's your main man, actor, producer, Troy D. Williams.
Hey, it's Cherry Johnson.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Scott White.
We are the Herd.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Natasha.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is B Slade.
And you are now tuned in to Unmuted.
You are watching Unmuted.
To Unmuted.
To Unmuted.
And you're watching Unmuted.
You're watching Unmuted. Keep it locked.
Unmute yourself and speak your truth.